Hello, everyone. This is Ranger Rob from the Ranger Rob Country Living channel. Welcome to the podcast. This is a live show. And if you catch it later, you can still leave comments and all that stuff. We have this, at least I've been discovering a little bit here. Let me get everything set up here. It sounds like some folks have left comments during the live show on Facebook and we're not seeing them. So if you really want to get on the conversation, I would suggest that maybe you jump on over to YouTube and get on the chat area there if you want to participate in chatting. But do your best. I mean, go ahead and try Facebook and see if we were just having a trouble the other day. But who knows? Gosh. Anyway, so this is a podcast, and it's also our audio version of Ranger Rob Country Living podcast, and which is every Wednesday at 5 o'clock right now. So we're going with that. And like I said, we don't know if we're getting all the comments through on a live show, especially on Facebook. If you really want to participate in the chat and we're not seeing your comments, jump on over to YouTube because we are simultaneously playing there too. So anyway, you guys can find this podcast on Spreaker. Once you get on Spreaker, you can sign up for free, and you'll get notifications every time we have a new show coming on. This show gets converted to audio within about an hour after the show's over, and then we upload it to the podcast. So it's like that. And this is episode 8. Yep, I believe, plus or minus 1. I believe is 8. So one of the things people brought up is preppers and homesteaders, self-sufficient people. One of the things that comments that come up is you have to be a person to evaluate the future. And so that's why it's still important to, not inundate yourself with news, but give yourself a variety of news, not just primetime stuff, to kind of give you an idea of what's going on. For example, let me turn on the screen. Let me shrink that down a little bit. I make it a habit to kind of monitor the earthquakes and stuff like that and try to get an understanding of how it affects us all over the world. But mostly I like to watch this, which is kind of tells us where power outages are and stuff in the United States. So, for example, right now, Texas and Louisiana are still recovering from the storms. And then I guess they have another kind of storm going through too. They've had a heck of a time. Why is this important? Well, these guys, you better hope that they were preppers. You better hope that they're self-sufficient. You better hope they have generators. Let's hope they have extra food and especially extra water, because there's situations, some of these guys have been out of power for a long period of time. And of course, California is constantly having problems with their power grid. If you break it down, I believe if you double click this, you can get a closer look at where in California. And my understanding of this area up above here is supported by the Orville Dam more. And so they had to shut that down. So I think that they're having a little trouble with getting power out to all those counties there. But yeah, it's kind of good information. And it's always a good idea to kind of keep an eye on earthquake situations and stuff like that. Those are two things that really interest me, because the West Coast has got some issues, if you ever notice. But apparently off of Africa, there's a series of small islands that are having troubles with earthquakes and stuff. And if one of those islands, not a volcano possibly, and if one of those volcanoes set off, it could cause a landslide into the ocean, which can cause us problems on the East Coast. So it's good to kind of know these things. It's also, all depends on where you live in the United States, where you should be concerned about things or not. And, clear that out. And so that's kind of my message to everybody is being a prepper means that you kind of monitor what's going on and then measure out for the future if certain events or resources were lost, whether it's a short period of time or a long period of time, how well would your family and your household do? And so I wanted to definitely bring that up. And it's not a gloom and doom. And once again, I do not teach fear here. Fear is for those that are atheists. That's all I can say. Um, a lot of us who are got Christian or backgrounds or stuff like that, we know that fear is not something we're supposed to uh, be involved in, because it's not a good thing. Love, happiness, good things, taking action, being proactive. Those are the kind of things that everybody should be doing, whether you're atheist or not. But don't be in fear. So some of the things I've been kind of putting emphasis on this week on our daily videos, and we do daily vlog videos on RangerRob Country Living YouTube channel. And you've probably been hearing me kind of whine a little bit because fall's here. And it's not really whining. It's just one of those things where it kind of hits you that here it comes. And so, we are definitely been suffering from the 100-degree weather, like a lot of other folks and stuff like that. And yeah, it's nice that it's cooler, but we can also see in our gardens, in our greenhouse and things like that things are being affected. Like in the greenhouse, we have these immaculate tomatoes growing, and they're jet setters, and we have big beef too. And they're not ripening quite as fast, and probably, aren't as pretty as they were when they first were coming out. And you can kind of tell that the big change in weather is definitely affecting them. And hi, Brandon, how are you? And Brandon, yes, that's I should bring samples, but yeah. So with the crisis is going on, I really didn't talk about money, and so yeah, there's some really crazy things going down in the financial markets, including China. And China and America are kind of side by side. What happens to them happens to us. They're having some definitely big issues. So when it comes to hard times, if we really go over the edge to really hard times, and maybe we can't get to our money, maybe it's in the bank, or maybe we had to reset and they took half of it and changed it to the digital dollar, more than half of it probably, things like that. We may get into that mode of, I need to trade with someone. I could trade some food, or maybe some freedom pellets or things like that. And you guys know what that is. But one of the best things out there is, yeah, I saw that, Brent. In fact, I just watched Johnny Bravo is a guy I get a kick out of, but I do watch some other ones too. Anyway, gold and silver is an asset, just like property, and I consider food an asset, and bullets and bang sticks and things like that are tradable, or things that people want, fuel, gas, things like that. But gold and silver, you can't go wrong, because no matter what, those two commodities are going to be recognized in bad times and good times. So I do buy silver. I try to buy some, every other month or so. I just buy, about 8 ounces or so every month or every 2 months. And I also send an ounce of silver to each one of my grandkids for Christmas. And of course they kind of, thanks a lot, Grandpa. But they don't realize that little bugger's worth like $36. But hopefully when they get older and they realize whatever it's worth then, they're going to go, oh, Grandpa was on to something. And maybe if I'm not around anymore, they'll go, oh, Grandpa was on to something here. Maybe I should keep buying silver or gold. Yeah. I particularly am not rich enough to be buying a lot of gold, so I've been kind of doing it with the silver. Besides, if I'm trying to trade and stuff like that, and I've got an ounce of gold, that's worth like 2,000, almost, let's say $1,700. I'm not trading anything for that amount of money unless I was buying a car or something. So I like the silver because I can take half ounces or full ounces of silver and maybe trade with somebody for 5 gallons of gas or something like that during hard times, and they'd recognize it and be happy to do the trade. So yeah, good point, Brandon. Is uh, I would definitely, as a prepper or homesteader or just a person who's just kind of worried about their money, um, there's some real nightmares going on. And if you ever do some homework, you'll see like Greece went through a time where they couldn't even get to their money. The banks just said, sorry, we can't give you your money right now. It's like, wait a minute, that's my money. But yeah, it doesn't work that way. You're welcome. So where are you from, Brandon? Anyway, moving on, I was talking about fall. So fall's definitely showing signs in the greenhouse, the gardens, the weather, the grass, mowing our lawns, our watering systems. It's kind of depressing, but at the same time, kind of nice. Texas. In fact, I was trying to get a guy on a show today from Texas. He's in El Paso, but he wasn't feeling well today. So nice to have you. And it's funny. I was watching something where a gal was up and had to go to Washington State and came from Texas. And she had the nerve, and I think there was the only reason I'm going to tell you I saw it on TikTok because we're actually doing some TikTok experimenting. And anyway, she was complaining. I don't know if she was complaining, but she was like, Washington's really strict with the masks and all that stuff. She was like, it's like, I'm from Texas. It's like, at least in Washington, enough people walk, they put their masks on when they go in, they put their mask on when they go to stores, and they're really, really diligent about all that. It's like Washington really cares about the people. And it's like, are you kidding me? She came from Texas. I was just a little shocked. So when it comes to masks and vaccines and things into the arm and stuff, it's your choice, just your choice. And you're not going to affect me whether I'm vaccinated or not if you don't get the jab in the arm. No big deal. And so Louise, I was just showing here, guys, Brandon, you're also Louisiana. It's also showing 69,000 people out of power. So it must be really messed up down there. So I hope that's not affecting you. And I hope if it is, I hope they get over it fast, and I hope you're prepared for it too. And it'd be interesting to hear some of your comments about what's been going on down there. Obviously, we see things from a distance, so we only hear the stories that, in fact, I forgot to show you what screen I was looking at. Louisiana, right here, they're showing, 69,000 power outages, and Texas is still at 75,000. So 73,000. So I hope everything's going good for you, Brandon. And I hope if you were stuck in all that you're prepared, or at least anything, you've been enlightened to the fact that, maybe I should have a little extra food, a little extra water, all that kind of good stuff. And once again, this isn't a fear channel. This is like, I don't care if you just do a week's worth of stuff or 2 weeks. Preferably, I'd love to see everybody be kind of backed up on everything and prepared for 6 months to a year, just in case. In fact, that's suggested from FEMA. I think it's FEMA. So anyway, so fall, I keep getting sidetracked. I don't know why. Fall's coming. It's almost here. And then I think the most depressing part of fall for me is changing the clocks. Let's say we fall back. So then it starts getting darker sooner. That's when I really lose it. Brandon says, you didn't lose any power or internet in my town, but Galveston took a good blow. And yes, I've been to Galveston. And the one thing I can never forget about Galveston was two things. One is Galveston itself, the houses are all on stilts. Just good, blows my mind. And then also, I love that. I can't remember the name of that boardwalk area that we went to. That was amazing. So, but yeah, I loved it there. But I don't know if I'd like the humidity so much. But I was looking at sails. I was interested in buying a sailboat down there, and I'm glad I kind of didn't do that. But yeah, Galveston, cool place. Cool place. So the other thing is harvesting. Oh my gosh. So if you guys are really getting into your gardens and really doing greenhouses, and we do the hydroponics, uh, oh my gosh. Excuse me. We we're we just keep yes, the humidity is indeed bad there. The other time I went to Texas was when my son was in the Air Force and was at boot camp when we flew down there, and walking out of that airplane and hitting that humidity, it was like walking into a indoor swimming pool. It's definitely a shocker, but I can see how you can kind of get used to it. But anyway, getting back to harvesting is by now we've gotten so many tomatoes, we've gotten so many uh, Swiss chard, so much beans and all that stuff that you get to a point that you just like, screw it, I'm done. Especially if you're doing a lot of canning and making sauces and stuff like that. Um, that's the other feeling in fall here is we're getting to that point where it's like, you're almost like are relieved that you're going to get a break. And then the other thing that fall happens to me is it says, okay, we're getting to the end of this. We're very happy how things turned out. We have a few things we need to modify. If you've been watching our videos, we could have done better on the corn. But this is the time to reflect and say, okay, what did we do well? What did we grow that we got too many, which was too many banana peppers? I don't know. I love peppers, but banana peppers to me are I wanted to grow some because I never had them before, but now we got billions of them. I'm sick of them. And Sherry and I are like, maybe only one banana pepper plant next year. Okay. We got 3 and they're producing like crazy right now even. So this is the time to look at what could you do better? What would you like to do different next year? And what are some of the new things you want to try? And in our case, I think we're definitely going to go towards having meat birds. I've been telling you before, and I'll say it again. I'm kind of motivated by watching food prices. If I continue to see food prices as crazy as it is, I definitely would be more motivated to do meat birds next year. Won't be too hard. We do have to build the cages, but the other thing I'm brainstorming about is possibly building 2 cages side by side, one for meat birds, and then the other would be checker. And not for eating, although they're good to eat. Checker are actually a partridge kind of bird. And I used to raise them before in the old days, and I just thought that they're the coolest bird. They're colony birds, so they're kind of like little lemmings. And so if one does one, if you have 20 of them, if one does something, the other 20 follow. And they're just beautiful birds and funny to watch. They're like I call them little clowns. Anyway, I would love to have checker again. So possibly if I'm going to build a pen, I'd double it and just do it, and I'd love to have them. So I think that's kind of what I'm looking at, Brandon, is the Cornish cross or whatever, or meat birds. Rabbits, Sherry and I just kind of, I don't know, not that thrilled about rabbits. We would do it in hard times, no doubt. They're amazing animal to grow for meat. But we're looking at the Cornish cross, basically the ones that get to full size by 8 to 9 weeks. And so to me, that's amazing to get a bird from 4 to 5 pounds, 6 pounds dressed out in such a short period of time. That's amazing. So the third thing we'll be building is also a processing station. No way am I going to do 25 or more birds without a processing station. So I want, and I will get a mechanical plucker, good steaming pots and a cutting table, and everything set up right by the pens that make the process go as easy as possible. Emu burgers. I heard people love those, but no, I don't know if you watch our channel much, but I'm busy. It's like, so when we introduce more things, that's actually more work for Rob. And so I'm I think I'm just going to settle for the meat birds at first, and then the checker, they're just going to be pets, so it'd be like feeding the dogs as far as I'm concerned. Yes, I agree. 5 Virgins Prepper. Never met you before. Welcome. Yeah, I try to subtly in my videos, which are daily. We try to keep pushing people to think about that stuff without sounding like a lunatic. And so every video we do, we always say, guys, come on. And we're today, I was just mentioning early in the video, is start watching the news. Or we as preppers or homesteaders, and all of us are people that need to predict the future. So the way to do that is through news, and not just the news you see on Como or well, in our case, it'd be, the main channels, NBC, CBS, those guys, their agenda is one way. And so you want to watch things like Blaze TV and some of the other different alternate news to get the full story. And then you make your decisions for your homestead or your home or farm or whatever you're doing. Try to be ahead of the game a little. And so that's what we try to do here, is like, guys, just be ahead of the game a little bit. Brandon, you said, have you heard of the debt ceiling situation? Yeah. I don't know if they're, I think they're going to try to block it. And so that'll be interesting when we do that, because then real stuff will hit the fan. It'll be interesting how they'll affect us all. And 5 Virgins of Prepper. I hope I'm saying your name right. I butcher some 30 rabbits monthly. And by the way, up here in Oregon, there's I'll tell you about you probably watch Sprague River Homestead. They're really into rabbits, and she actually tries to specialize in rabbits. And she was pretty much, convincing me to go that route. But at the last minute, me and Sherry decided not to do that this year because we had our hands full already. But I definitely am a thumbs up person on rabbits. Rabbits multiply like crazy, just like they say they do, like hamsters. They're affordable. Their droppings are great for the garden. There's a lot of positives to it. But the worst thing about rabbits is they're too damn cute. But I wouldn't hesitate to do rabbits if I see our situations getting worse. And it is getting worse, but not to the point where I'm going to go saturate myself with that kind of stuff yet. But my next step is the meat birds. I think it's time. Plus, I need time to get the pens built and butcher station set up. So, yeah. And then one of the other things that's kind of new this week is we are on TikTok. I know. There's supposed to be a good business aspect to it. So just because we're maybe people are old fashioned and like to be, we're patriotic and all that kind of stuff. We also embrace the future if it's worthwhile. And so one of the people that I've worked with for a long time has suggested you need to start doing TikTok, Rob, and it's good for your channel. And we also have a product you guys probably have seen on our videos. We do the RangerRob Pet Poopy Bags, and this is the sheets version. We also have them on rolls, and so that helps helps our channel and everything we do. So we've been using TikTok to kind of get the RangerRob Country Living going, and at the same time promote, because there's a lot of funny videos we can do with the RangerRob Poopy Bags. So it is what it is. So actually, before I forget, I think if you haven't seen this before, that's my job, is to drive you nuts with stupid things, right? So let me see if I can find it. Right here. After years of research and countless hours of R&D work, teams were assembled, research was presented, and the idea was put out to the public. If this could be done, the world would be amazed. Outdoor life would be changed forever. Hiking, vacation, and camping would never be the same. They got the work, they started designing, they made the product, and it's here today just for you. Yes, RangerRob poopy bags are finally here. They're bigger, deeper, smell like lemon, and strong. Available at Amazon at low cost and free shipping. Yes, sirree, Bob. RangerRob poopy bags. So, yeah, that's what we make. That helps our channel, and they're damn good bags, and you can get them on Amazon. And yes, I actually just did a video like 2 days ago, kind of talking about why we even developed that. So anyway, so I've got a list of things I usually go through, and I kind of let, I got to get back to my comments here. Mix that poo with the compost. I hear you. I produce, let's see, what was this? Five Virgins Prepper says I produce 100 pounds of poo monthly. With rabbits? Are you talking about rabbits? Because that's like the best fertilizer ever. And then Brandon says, good work. Oh, man. So you're saying you have 30 rabbits. You butchered. Oh, I butcher some 30 rabbits monthly. So every month you're doing 30 rabbits. I hate the math. How many rabbits do you have total? And is this other note you said that you produce like 100 pounds of poo monthly? Is that from the rabbits, or is that a mixture of other animals too? So yeah, lots of questions. So moving right along. One of the things I did mention in the last show is we all need to start pushing back. So I don't know what it is about us conservative kind of folks, and it shouldn't be just conservatives. I don't know why they brand us the way they do, but some of the stuff is over the top. I can't even believe that the other side, even a handful of them are going, okay, we're kind of on your side, but you're kind of over the top in a few things. We all need to kind of start pushing back and saying enough is enough. Like my wife, she works at a school board, and it's not that big a town. We're out in the boonies, and it sounds like every school board meeting, open house, is like a war zone, and that's a good sign. That means people are pushing back, and if that's happening at every single school board, then something's broke. And let's see, what was this? You know what's strange? You don't see white dog poo no more. White poo. That's true. I'll just leave it there. I don't think I want to go any deeper. But anyway, so pushing back is important, that we get involved in stuff. I know it sounds like, we need to be on the Chamber of Commerce's. We need to be involved in school boards. We need to be involved in nonprofit organizations. If we can't be in it, then maybe we should donate to the ones that we really support. Or, like us, we do our own show. And so we talk about pushing back and throw ideas, or if I've heard of some really good ideas, like or I heard something from Blaze TV or something, we'll pass it on, or other homestead channels and other prepping channels, we push it onto our channel too, and spread the word, get it out there. Yeah, so I want to continue every show saying push back, people. And when I'm saying push back, I don't mean physically. I hope we never get to that point. But I mean, in the past, it's happened. But I don't advocate for that at all. I'm thinking peaceful stuff, common sense stuff that we can all do. And if you have a voice, or maybe you like to talk about things, you have ideas of your own, start your own podcast, start your own YouTube channel, or create a group on Facebook of areas that you're concerned about, and get people talking and yelling and insulting each other. So it used to be a time, I say that, it used to be a time that we could actually all have different people from different backgrounds talking in the same room, but some reason we can't seem to do that like we used to. And I don't know. And it's the media and politicians are doing that to us. We shouldn't have to change. We shouldn't change. We're being affected by outsiders. So bring it in, people. Push back. Oh, that makes sense. Brandon just looked up. We're talking about white poo. You had to take this farther, didn't you? Yeah, I've noticed that where, especially if you're hunting, coyotes do it, all that kind of stuff. Animals that eat animals raw out in the wild, that a lot of times their poo is white, and reason is bone marrow. And he just looked it up. Apparently, they stopped adding bone marrow to dog food in recent years. That was turning it white. Yes, that makes sense. Brandon, you're taking me down a weird road. So, I think you're just doing that on purpose just to make me go, woo, where am I? So, so the other thing I was going to talk about is stupid chickens. So I've got, obviously, you guys watching on our videos, we have 10 Rhode Island Reds. They're all females. They're all hens. And so that's how I want it. No roosters. I don't want babies right now. Anyway, so, however, there's a pecking order even in females. And so I have about 3 hens that, have bald spots and stuff like that on their backs and stuff. And I can't seem to catch which chicken's doing it. I have to assume it's the one that looks the nicest. And so we ordered some chicken saddles. I know it's the dumbest thing ever. And they're little pads you put, and they have little straps that go in their wings. It puts up a little apron kind of thing over their backs and kind of helps prevent other chickens from picking on the other chickens. However, I got these and I thought my Rhode Islands were a big bird. Apparently not. I think there must be bigger, because the ones I got were too big for my test chicken and it fell off. And so I've got 5. I just ordered 5, thank goodness. And so I'm going to order 5 more. I'm going to hold on to those in case I need them for other birds. Because I might get turkeys in the future. And so if they have a pecking problem, I could protect the turkeys. That's down the road. Way down the road, maybe 2 years from now. Anyway, so chicken saddles are on the way, going to get smaller ones. So, and see, 5 Virgins Prepper. I've been watching survivalist channels, and they have ideas that I hadn't thought of. And yes, I highly recommend that people watch those kind of shows. Yes, some of them may be over the top. And so what we try to do in this channel is not, get in here and, get dressed up in camouflage and strap bullets and guns all over our chests and stuff. We want to send out the same signal saying, hey, average Joe here, older person, not young, stand behind all the preppers and survivalists out there, but everybody's got to do it in their own way. And so not everybody's going to go to survivalist schools. Not everybody's going to be buying tons of guns and rifles and freedom pellets and things like that. So do it as you see fit. I don't want this channel to ever put somebody in a corner or belittle them because they're just doing little things. Everything counts. Everything. If you're just a person who's getting a little bit more freeze-dried food in the back pantry, good for you. And if you're someone who maybe just started your first garden in your backyard and you live just outside the city, good for you. If you're someone who's in the city and you live in an apartment or a condo or something and you're buying a backup of water or a few little things, maybe doing some hydroponics in your kitchen, good for you. And that's cool. And that's what I want the signal to be on this channel. Are we overboard here compared to that? Yeah. I have backup generators, all this kind of crazy stuff. I have at least a year's worth of food. And the only reason we got to that point is because we got a freeze dryer and we started to do, and we've been growing a lot of food and we can preserve it for long periods of time. And it's really cool. But if you can't do that, totally understand, or your budget doesn't get you there. And then a lot of folks are in the city, you folks probably have to think about bugging out if things got tough. And I wouldn't want to be in those shoes at all. One is where I'm at is like I'm too old to consider bugging out, and two, I consider people are bugging out a walking target, and because people just say, okay, he's got a life savings in his backpack, and I want that backpack. Um, I wouldn't want to be in that situation. And yes, you probably don't want to stay on main roads and things like that, but I certainly hope I never get into that situation where Sherry and I have to consider bugging out. But we get a Mount Hood go off and, we need to get the heck out of here, but I hope that never happens. So anyway, but as long as you're doing something to, put some emergency things in the trunk of your car in case it breaks down, just for little things, whatever, good for you. And that's what we want to send on this channel, is not to belittle you. Do what you can with your budget and how you feel about the threat around you. I think the more studying you do, the more that, like all of us that are in the prepping world and homesteading, we're all feeling like something's going down. We just can't quite get our finger on it. But there's indicators showing we got some problems. And yeah. Tell you one thing. Oh my gosh. So let me around here, if you can see my mouse, that is not really where we want earthquakes right now, because they're having trouble with small earthquakes. Now, I don't have this set right to see the smaller earthquakes, but it's really close to where those islands are. I don't know if you can see my mouse moving much here. Let me make it bigger. Around here, if you can see my mouse. We want things to be calm over there right now, because I could send a really bad tidal wave over to I guess I'm looking at the wrong spot. That's okay. Everything's cool. Still in Chile. But over here is where we're having some problems. The chain of islands are, I believe, right in this area. Yeah, just below this line here. So right here, I don't have mine set on small tremors, but they got some little islands there that have some volcanoes that have had issues in the past that could send out a really bad tsunami over to the United States, and it's acting up over there. So, Brandon, you're right. The second here. So anyway, that's kind of like the kind of news that we if you're on the East Coast, yeah, you might want to be a little prepared in case something happened. Rob, I saw a vape pen in your pocket the other day. You on that wacky tobacco laugh out loud? Yes. And reason is that when I was a teenager, I worked on fishing boats over in Westport, Washington in the summers. And you worked your butt off. So it was two things we did. We either partied a lot when we could, and we all smoked. That's where I started smoking, 16, 17 years old. And I've did smoke for a long, long time, maybe up to 30 years. And I finally got that Comtrex or whatever they call that stuff. And at the same time, maybe 6 years ago, I still got this habit thing and all that. So that's when I realized that they had this vape stuff out there. And so, in fact, here we go. I've got one right here. And so I trained myself to go down to a very small nicotine of 3 mil or whatever the measurement is. And so I use very little nicotine. So when I don't vape, I don't freak out. And I kind of do it because it's kind of like the old man sitting in the rocking chair with a pipe. Vape to me is kind of like that too. So, however, when I got away from smoking, I felt better. I did gain weight, but I actually started knocking that off. And I'm not having coughing fits like I did before and all that stuff. So interesting observation. Yes, you're correct. I am a vapor. And am I advocate for it? I'm not advocate for that at all, or smoking. But it's a fact that I won't lie about it. So yeah, good catch, Brandon. So, and no, I'm not trying to keep it a secret, and I will obviously talk about it. So where are we at? So one of the things I never did get a chance to talk about is how do we make our videos, and what kind of cameras we use. And I always keep them kind of here. Um, Brandon says, "I salute you, like a hobbit enjoying his shire." Okay. Getting back to cameras, Brandon, I'm really glad you're here. My go-to camera is, where am I? The GoPro. And I finally switched from a GoPro 3, which I used for years, but as I've gotten older, I'm a little shakier, and I'm starting to notice it in my videos. And I really wanted stabilization in the GoPro 9. And by the way, I use this case with it. So let me put that together for you here so you can see it. Oh. I'm not used to doing it on a camera. So it comes with this case that you slide into, clip it in, and then it looks like this. And it has a very good microphone here. And it's a lot different than my GoPro 3, and I really like it. And it really does a good job for being on the spot, on the scene, quick pull out a camera, don't have to do a lot of fixings. Another camera we use for time lapse is what we call the Brano. It looks like this. And this thing is awesome for doing, it's all it does is time lapse. So we tend to use that for that, even though the GoPro can do time lapse. But we do have what I call Big Bertha, which is the Canon G40. And this camera has an eye lens in the back. You see that. And also has the traditional window feature there, stuff. This is a very, I can't remember the word for it. It's a nice quality camera. We paid about $1,200 for it at the time. I think they're a little more now. We use this for more intricate shots, interviews, things like that. And it's still pretty flexible for like a lot of our cameras we use were for traveling and stuff like that. And it's still small enough to give a very high quality. And the other thing is it has the zoom capabilities that like GoPros don't have. So we do have a quality camera that occasionally we pull out, but when you're just in the mood of just quickly getting something done and mobile, the GoPro 9 is definitely the way to go for us. So, and when I do the GoPro 9, I also, I mount it on this thing here, which is a tripod also. So typically I'm holding it like this, or I'm setting it somewhere on a garbage can or something and doing shots from that. So when you're doing daily videos and stuff, it's really hard to take the time to set up the bigger camera with a tripod, wireless mic, things like that, when you can just pull this puppy out and get the shot and get your thoughts done. So Brandon is robust. I guess so. My puppies have just invaded me. So I don't know if you quite see them, but Cinder and Belle are both in the room. They actually, a lot of times, will come in here. When they're together, they tend to wrestle, but hopefully most of the time they just lay under the table while I'm doing stuff. And I think they kind of know I've done so many shows and so many things from the studio here. And yes, I'm in a studio, that they're kind of used to staying calm. So listen, but a lot of times you'll see them poke their little noses up in the screen. And if I really didn't want them to do that, I'd shut the studio door. But anyway, but yep, the puppies are doing great. And if you guys don't know much about the two dogs, Cinder, the older dog, I don't know if you can see her. Come here, up, come on, a little further than that. up. Anyway, forget it. The older lab is almost 9 years old. Very nice dog and very patient with the young German Shepherd we have too. German Shepherd is an idiot, and but the cutest dog ever. And so it's been very interesting to have a German Shepherd, and having Cinder with her, it helped train Belle a lot easier. So it's been pretty cool, and having the German Shepherd's been fun. And anytime you have questions about the two dogs, let us know, and we'll do more videos about them. So next thing I want to talk about is patriotism. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I don't know why classrooms would give up Pledge of Allegiance in school. That was something we all did, and even though we didn't totally understand it when we were young, why we're doing it, as we get older, it all made sense, and so it was kind of brought into us. And then the fact that how important our flag is, and being a little selfish, I don't see what's wrong with that. I mean, yes, we also, we all want to help people, and we do, but like the guy that was before the guy we have now, I truly think that we should think about ourselves first before we start going nuts with everybody outside. It's like we do all these things for these other countries, and yeah, we got so many Americans that could really use the help. And it's like, spend your money there. I don't know why that doesn't make sense to them. No, this is cranberry juice, but it'd be a lot better with vodka in it. So anyway, but guys, keep up the patriotism. Understand if you've forgotten things that you might have been taught, go back on YouTube and start re-educating yourself on the Constitution and how it came along, and the Civil War, and 1776, and all the things that got us to this point. And I really think that's important. Yeah, there's 195 countries on Earth. Let's just put 195 stars on our flag and unite the world. Yeah, that'd be like the United States reset. Almost there now, aren't we? So yeah, I always want to urge people, put a flag up in your yard, put a flag up in your house. Maybe have your kids do the Pledge of Allegiance at home if they're not doing it in the schools. Just let them be proud of their country. Is it perfect? No. We all got to keep working on it. But to give up our patriotism is definitely knocking more blocks out of our building. So yes, get on it, folks. And I'm trying to make sure I covered everything I wanted to cover in the show before this. Oh, I need to remind you guys that this is only a 1-hour show because it's a podcast. We also get syndicated with radio stations, so we also have to try to stay within our time limit. So the other thing is my concerns for winter. So I don't know, like in Texas or anything, but I'm sure Texas would not be too thrilled about some of the weather. They had problems with weather last winter. But what are you doing for winter? So we're, obviously we've been fighting the heat. All of us have been thinking about the heat. We've been trying to keep things cool. I'm sure some of us that live in Arizona and Texas and stuff have big power bills right now because they're paying for air conditioning. I know that because I came from Arizona. And of course, when we go into the winter, then my bill is higher because I've got really cold temperatures. So we got our regular heating. We do have a heat pump, but this year we have our pellet stove. So it would be really neat to see if that helps us knock down our bill a little bit. So you guys are probably in a $400 or $500 a month. That's when we get into our $400 or $500 a month because we're trying to heat our houses more. But that's why I brought the pellet stove in. And we do have a video back there of the last year when we had the pellet stove brought in. And yes, I've got a ton of pellets in my backyard. And it's like, why did I pick a pellet stove? It requires electricity. And it's like, you're correct. However, at my age, I don't really want, and where I live, we're in high desert. I don't really want to be chopping wood. Sorry. So that's why I have two types I just bought. And maybe 2 weeks ago, I just did a review on another generator I bought, which is only a small 2000. I bought at Costco. And by the way, it was super quiet. Anyway, that is devoted to my pellet stove um, that we can put just outside, run a power cord through one of the doors or windows, and keep the pellet stove running and keep us toasty warm. So that's its main goal, but it's also good for also doing projects in the somewhere under 5 acres, and it's also good for maybe keeping a 1 or 2 freezers running if I have to. I also have a very big generator, which I have designed to tie into our pump house, which allows us to have water in the winter just for the house. In the summer, I can have water for the house, and all of our watering systems can be still ran with that generator on. So yeah. I got that impression that in Texas, you guys have pretty mild winters, so you probably don't have to worry about it as much as we do. With the way the weather's been this summer, I tend to be a little cautious. This is where people should kind of predict the future a little bit. I'm predicting maybe if the summer was a little crazy, the winter might be a little crazy. If not, no harm done, right? But I'm kind of expecting probably more snow than normal, or longer snow, or more cold weather. If it's going to be odd in the summer, I'm expecting it to be odd in the winter. If it's not, and it's a normal, pretty mild winter, cool. But, keep that in the back of your heads. Pay attention to what's been going on. How do you think that'll affect you in the future for survivalism, or prepping, or homesteading, or your budget, or just protecting your family? That's why you want to stay on top of the news. What was the other things I wanted to bring up? I also mentioned that we are looking into building a second greenhouse. Don't know if I'm going to build it from scratch again. I think we're going to use growing solutions, but even with growing solutions, they don't supply the wood, and they don't supply the doors. It's like, really? You supply all the other crap. You may as well do that too, but no. What do we got going on, Brandon? It says just too many people moved to Texas and are straining our power grids. Yeah. I got a feeling that I know they're working on a few projects with Tesla and stuff like that to improve that scenario. So hopefully they do. Texan people tend to, well, it's hard to say because things have changed a little bit, but you guys are pretty tough guys, tough hombres. You'll find a way to get over that power problem. They'll come up with something. I just hope it's not a bunch of windmills. Those things suck. Oh yeah. So where was I? So we got the second greenhouse going. We'll probably start that probably January, February. It's got to be completed before April. And then we're going to put NFT only hydroponics in it, which will use a company called Crop King. And we're going to bring in a really nice systems because they're kind of a different kind of a track system, easy to clean, and are good for processing food quickly and very easy to load. And so, yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's a little pricey, but that's why we were going to do a much bigger greenhouse. But like, I was like, we're killing ourselves here. Chill out. So anyway, the other thing I guess I want to do is in the comments, if you watch this show afterwards, and by the way, this is a new show as far as going live. It's not, the podcast has been around a little bit, but going live is new. So to get everybody used to knowing that, I know 5 o'clock probably isn't the best. I'm trying to do these shows before my wife gets home because I'm her bitch and I got to cook dinner. That's the joke around here. I'm Sherry's bitch. So don't tell anybody. Anyway, it's a secret, right? So at 6 o'clock, Sherry's bitch got to start cooking dinner. And I do that because I'm retired. She's doing a 9 to 5. That's how we get our health insurance. We only got a few more years of that, and then she can retire. But in the meantime, there's no reason why I can't be cooking dinners. And as long as she does the dishes, but that doesn't always work out either. But yeah. And guys, you should do that kind of stuff. my wife does a lot of manly stuff. She works on equipment, gets her hands dirty and stuff. And it's like, so I should at least be able to do dishes and stuff once in a while, right? Shh, don't tell her I said that. So what time have we got here? We only got 5 minutes left. So the other thing, for those of you who are new to the channel, we are in Central Oregon. We are on a 5-acre place here. We're not considered like a farm or a mini farm. We are kind of, sort of. And so we're in a high desert area. So we have terrible dirt. So any kind of thing you grow in here, you have to do, you have to put additives in your dirt and stuff like that. But the climate's actually pretty good, but we have a very short period of time to grow stuff. So it's challenging. And that's one of the reasons why we've been using greenhouses. I didn't realize how cool a greenhouse was until we actually got one built and are using it. It's amazing. You can start earlier and grow later. And if I had a climate controlled greenhouse, it'd be amazing. And so I just don't know how amazing my wallet would handle paying for a climate controlled. Just to bring more power to the other side of the property is like $6,000. I wasn't too thrilled about that, so we'll see. So you never know. If my YouTube channel just went really crazy, maybe someday I could afford a really fancy greenhouse. But until then, I gotta sell poopy bags. So anyway, so guys, don't forget to try out the RangerRob pet poopy bags. I actually built these from scratch. I actually changed the measurements from what you see in the parks and all that stuff, the crappy ones that you can't hardly turn inside out without getting it all over you. And no, my bags are bigger and they're stronger and they have handles and they can turn inside out super easy. You tie them up once. And if you're hiking and you need to take that stuff back with you, no big deal. They're sealed up well and they got a nice loop on the handles. Carry it back out with you. And they do break down in landfills, so they're eco-friendly and they smell like lemon. That's the most important. So yeah, if you want your dog's poop to smell like lemon, use RangerRob poopy bags. You'll be a happy camper. So guys, for those who've been hanging out, Brandon, and we've had still getting used to his name, Five Virgins Prepper. We had some other folks stop by. Anyway, and some people came on and didn't say anything. I want to welcome you all to the channel. Just to let you know, we're having a hard time seeing comments coming from Facebook for some reason. So I always urge people to kind of shoot over to YouTube to watch our podcast and get your comments in. But anyway, I want to thank you, first of all, for supporting us too. We have really good subscription base, and we really appreciate that. We are trying to grow. Do check out our TikTok channel. It might be it's more on the funny side, but it's to help promote this channel and also the RangerRob poopy bags. And guys, keep the comments coming in. Tell us the things you'd like us to talk about, what we're doing with our prepping and our homesteading and our hydroponics, and some of the new things we'll be doing in the future. We really appreciate it. So guys, have a great day. We got to get moving here pretty quick. I've got to find my little button to push. I want to wish everybody a wonderful day. Please get some emergency stuff just in case something happens with that or something. We want you to come out of any kind of emergency with no scratches. So take care, guys. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye now. Thank you very much for watching our video. Please try this again. Thank you very much for watching our video. Please take the time to like, subscribe, and share our videos all over the whole wide world. Thanks.